Ibiza, summer 1997, the island vibrates to the pulsating rhythm of endless parties. The beaches glisten in the light of the setting sun and yachts line the harbors of the rich and powerful. But behind this perfect postcard idyll lurks a dark truth, a crime that remains unsolved to this day. It is the story of German businessman Thomas Igner, a man whose life ended mysteriously, or rather, disappeared without a trace. A man with two faces. Thomas Igner was no ordinary tourist. The 43-year-old German was a respected art dealer and property investor with an impeccable reputation, at least on the outside. Behind the facade of the successful businessman was a risk-taker who skillfully blurred the lines between legal and illegal business. Igner traded in exclusive luxury villas and historic properties on Ibiza, which he renovated for a fortune and sold to wealthy clients. But his true passion was art, especially rare, antique statues and lost masterpieces whose origins were often shrouded in mystery. It was rumored that he had contacts with dubious art collectors and even international smuggling networks. A deal that should never have happened. In August 1997, Igner traveled to Ibiza, allegedly for a multi-million-euro deal with a group of anonymous investors who were interested in an old finca on a remote cliff. But behind this supposed property deal lay a sinister truth. One of the main interested parties was none other than Juan Torres Serra, the notorious El Pirata. Torres Serra was a legend of the Spanish underworld, an unscrupulous criminal whose activities ranged from drug smuggling to property fraud. Over decades, he had built up a criminal empire on the Balearic Islands. Police files described him as ice-cold and unpredictable, a man who never forgave a mistake. Igner knew who he was getting involved with, but the prospect of a gigantic profit made him ignore all warnings. It was a deal that would make him rich, or destroy him. The last night. Igner was seen for the last time on August 13, 1997. Witnesses reported seeing him at an exclusive beach club near Ibiza, a mystical place shrouded in legend and considered one of the most magical spots in the world. There he allegedly met with Torres Serra. The atmosphere was tense, the conversations heated. Later that night, Igner left the club accompanied by two unknown men. He got into his black hire car, a Jeep Cherokee, and drove north straight into the heart of the lonely, rocky landscape that hides behind the beaches. That was the last time anyone saw him alive. The eerie disappearance. 2 days later, Igner's Jeep was found abandoned in a densely wooded area, the doors wide open but with no signs of violence. His mobile phone was lying on the passenger seat, the battery flat. There was no trace of Thomas Igner. The investigators quickly came across Torres Serra, whose reputation alone was enough to make him the prime suspect. But Serra had a flawless alibi. On the night of Igner's disappearance, he is said to have been partying on his yacht in the harbor of Palma, in the presence of several wealthy witnesses who were willing to confirm his statement. Despite intensive investigations and interrogations, Serra remained untouchable. An official from the Guardia Civil described him as a man who was always one move ahead, like a chess player who has already won the game before his opponent makes his first move. Theories and speculation. The rumor mill was buzzing. The fatal deal. The most likely theory is that Igner was involved in a deal gone wrong with Torres Serra, possibly a failed art or property deal with millions at stake. Kidnapping and ransom. Some believed Igner was kidnapped and held for ransom, but no such ransom was ever demanded. Murder without a body. There was speculation that Igner was disposed of by professional killers and his body dumped in the sea without a trace, without any evidence. Escape into the unknown. A final theory is that Igner himself was in trouble and staged his death to escape his creditors and the underworld. An unsolved mystery. The years passed, but the dark aura surrounding Thomas Igner remained. Rumors about his fate persist to this day in the harbor bars of Ibiza and in the luxurious villas of the rich. Juan Torres Serra continues to live freely, an untouchable shadow man with countless secrets. Was Thomas Igner a victim of organized crime? Or was he himself a player in a dangerous game for power and money that ultimately cost him his life? In the glittering waters around the Balearic Islands, a truth lies hidden deep beneath the surface, just like the fate of Thomas Igner.